Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is January 19, 2023, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets tumble. Now, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the major markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the Canadian dollar weakens after it publishes its yearly CPI numbers. Now, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both have a massive sell-off. Looking at commodities, gold steady, while oil tried to break out, but then tapers off. Now looking at the stocks, they sold off across the board, some more than others. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin holding its 20K gains, even though the markets sold off. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're taking a look at the USD Canadian dollar. First at a weekly chart. And you can see that this pivot move from yesterday was a nice move on the upside versus the dollar. We were at 133 and we tanked. The Canadian dollar tanked versus US dollar. That means it went up to 135 versus the USD. The dollar getting stronger here. Now this is still in a downwards momentum. And I want to highlight the fact that there's not enough volume here for us to give it a clear sell that it's going to go back to this 139, 140-ish level. Now remember, it's an inverse relationship, so keep that in mind. Now this came yesterday, okay, as we could say, okay, after that CPI number came out. You can see it's quite aggressive. Now looking at the Japanese yen, we had a fake out breakout yesterday. The dollar looked like it was going to get stronger and then it tapered off. Looking at the other major currencies, the Euro USD pretty much unchanged, holding steady. So it's showing some strength versus the US dollar, which is a big pushback. Now looking at gold, holding itself off at 1900. Yeah, tapering off from its highs, but still holding to its gains. Now looking at crude oil, kind of had a fake out breakout. That's looking at a daily. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. We rallied all the way to $82.50 and then tapered off to $79. That's a $3 move. So that is a major move on the downside for oil as well. Now looking at the U.S. market, starting out with the Dow Jones, a big sell-off yesterday. First a daily chart, but let's look at a 4-hour chart, and the sell-off continues here this morning. We sold off over 1,000 points from the beginning of the week, and this is really, as I said at the beginning of the month, it looked like we were going to rally at the beginning of the month and then sell off towards the end of the month. Now, the real telltale sign is that if we're going to hold these gains going into 33,000, or are we going to break lower? That's a big, big question, and that's what I would like to see. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also sold off quite aggressively. Now, Microsoft did mention yesterday that it's laying off more than 10,000 workers. So that's, that's paying a price on the market. Okay, the market gets jittery when these type of things happen. Looking at the stocks individually, they all sold off, but the big bellwethers, the Intel, the Cisco, all fell down. You can see it quite clearly. Those are the ones I want to look at because those are the ones are the first liners in the production cycle for manufacturing goods of high-tech pieces. So these are the ones that are the most important. And if they're going down, that means slowly but surely everything else is going to go down. And that's why I want to keep an eye on this. Now, almost everything sold off yesterday, some more than others. Okay, Amazon sold off, but Google sold off more. Okay, if you can see that, $91. Microsoft also sold off. Okay, and so these are the type of things that it's hard to kind of waver when everything sells off. You got to look for the ones that sold off the most, and those are the weakest, at least for the interim, until they change character. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin trading above 20 grand. It got to 21,000, did retrace a bit, but still above 20 grand. That's a big deal for Bitcoin, so just be aware of that. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day.